Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me this week to react to The Rainmaker. I had a movie night with some of my subscribers last week. We had a great time and some really interesting discussion following the film about what we thought it might have to say to us and the legal system today. Watching the movie, there were a couple things that I wanted to react to with everybody that I didn't necessarily react to during that movie night. So that is what we are going to be doing right now.
They don't teach you what you need to know. It's all theories and lofty notions and big fat ethics books.
What's wrong with ethics?
Nothing, I guess. I mean, I believe a lawyer should fight for his client, refrain from stealing money, and try not to lie. You know, the basics.
That was blatant ambulance chasing.
Right. Who cares? There's a lot of lawyers out there. It's a marketplace. It's a competition. What they don't teach you in law school can get you hurt.
Alright, so this kind of law is not the kind I intend to practice, and I would be lying if I said that I was well versed in ambulance chasing or basically getting insurance companies to pay out on their claims, which is what the whole movie centers around. But something I did want to comment on is the fact that law school maybe doesn't teach you what you need to know. I haven't taken my ethics class in law school yet. I will hopefully be taking that this next year. But I can tell you that law school does not teach you everything you need to know, whether it's in ethics or something else. I haven't found or heard that law school is going to prepare me well for the trial procedure, the interactions with police and witnesses, how to practically give a deposition or look at evidence. You get some tastes of these things, but really it's a lot of on-the-job training. The way that I've kind of been describing it, which some attorneys have and have not agreed with me on, is that law school feels kind of like the stretching before a marathon. You're not doing any of the running, and it feels very different than your actual career. You're doing different things. The marathon is probably more exciting and thrilling and why you are stretching in the first place. But you don't have to particularly like law school, and you aren't necessarily training the exact specific things that you need to do to succeed after law school, but it is an essential part of preparing your mind to succeed in the field.
How do you know when a lawyer is lying? His lips are moving. What's the difference between a hooker and a lawyer? A hooker will stop screwing you after you're dead.
I can appreciate a good lawyer joke as much as the next person. If anything, I think lawyers appreciate lawyer jokes more than anyone else. There's actually an Instagram account I follow, which I can't remember the name of right now, but I will put it on the screen right here. That's just a bunch of jokes about things that happen in the courthouse. I'd like to think that a lot of lawyer jokes are not true, but every social commentary has at least a grain of truth in them. Hopefully I'll be the exception to the rule.
In my first year of law school, everybody loved everybody else because we were all studying the law, and the law was a noble thing. By my third year, you were lucky if you weren't murdered in your sleep. People stole exams, hid research materials from the library, and lied to the professors. Such is the nature of the profession.
Rudy is taking the bar exam, which is an exam that everyone has to get after they graduate law school in order to be licensed to actually practice. Just getting a law degree is not enough. One factor that people use to determine which law school to attend is actually their bar pass rate, which is the percentage of people from that school who pass the bar exam within 1 year of graduation. You obviously want a school with a high bar passage rate because that not only speaks to the quality of the professors, but also the quality of the community that you're getting yourself into. I thankfully have not yet experienced anything like Rudy is talking about here with a very competitive or mean-spirited classmates when it comes to helping each other out. It is unfortunate that law school is built to be so competitive when it comes to grading and the curve, a topic that I covered in a prior video that you can check out right here if you're interested.
Just relax. You can do this. It's just emotion. Me? Oh, come on. I'm gonna be sick. You know this case. You're gonna be fine. I don't even have my license. You don't need a license. Come on.
That is not true. You definitely need a license to practice law to speak in court, to have clients. The only exception is when you are being supervised by another attorney who is licensed to practice law. And in this case, you don't have that attorney here. This law student is not licensed or qualified to be speaking in court. In the movie, they make an exception for him, and I'm not sure how realistic that is. Although it does bear saying that judges do have a lot of discretion in how much leeway they're able to give people in their courtroom for a variety of reasons and excuses.
I've memorized the Black Files cold. I've read all the books on jurisprudence, the rules of evidence, and discovery. But I take one look around the courtroom, and I realize I haven't even been born yet.
So that's exactly what I was talking about how there's only so much you can learn in law school and read about practicing law, particularly when it comes to speaking in court and writing for the court and arguing in front of the court. Everything that's happening there, it's such a different beast to do it than it is to read about it. And the only reason I know that is from my internships and a little bit from doing mock trial. I was thankfully able to get some experience through doing that program that made me a little bit more comfortable in the courtroom. But even after doing it for 5 years and 2 internships, I still get a little nervous when I walk into that big room with the judges on the bench. It's an intimidating place that deserves some level of respect no matter what you think about our justice system.
Guess what newly made judge was assigned great benefit case in this place?
How in the hell am I supposed to know that, Dad?
Tyrone Kipler, black, Harvard civil rights lawyer. He can't stand Tinley Britt, and he's tough on insurance companies, sues them all the time.
So what happened in this case was the judge that was in charge of the case has passed away, and a new judge has been appointed to take over the case. To become a judge in almost every case, you have to have been a lawyer first, and it doesn't really matter what law you practiced. So the new judge in this case was presumably a civil rights lawyer who spent his career suing insurance companies for what I assume are civil rights violations. Even though this case is going to be a jury trial, it can be really helpful to have a judge on your side. They're likely to give you more leeway in questioning, help when it comes to fighting whatever the other side is potentially doing unethically, and ruling in your favor on objections. In theory, judges should be impartial, and it shouldn't really matter what their background is, but the reality is they're humans too with their own biases and experiences, and that is inevitably going to affect the way that they preside over a trial.
I have an idea. I don't think so. Kind of a crazy idea.
Jury tampering. I love it. I love it.
So I only played a short clip of that scene because the whole thing is very long and it's also really funny, and I don't want to spoil it for you without the context of the rest of the movie. But essentially what has happened here is Rudy, the plaintiff's lawyer, has discovered that the defense attorney bugged his office, which, spoiler alert, major ethical violation. You can't do that. So what Rudy has decided to do, instead of reporting it to the judge, is use this to his advantage to do something else pretty unethical, which is to pretend to tamper with the jury to get a juror that he doesn't like thrown off. Now, in this case, they were able to see who all of the jurors were and assess them prior to trial. That doesn't really happen anymore anywhere, as far as I'm aware. Lawyers know who the jury is going to be ahead of time. In fact, even during the trial, at least in California, where I was interning for the district attorney's office, you never knew the jurors' names. You only had a number assigned to them by the court, and your only opportunity to get to know them was through voir dire at the courthouse, where you questioned their beliefs, backgrounds, etc. to determine who you wanted to strike or let stay on the jury. Jury tampering is when you contact one or more jurors outside of the courthouse to influence them in some way, or really just contacting them at all is wrong. You want the jurors to only have the impression of the case that is legally allowed within the confines of the courtroom and the supervision of the judge. Anything outside of that is going to tamper with the jury, potentially influence their decision illegally.
Now, Mrs. Black, you are the mother of Donnie Ray Black, who recently died of acute myelolytic leukemia because of the...
Objection. You can't... Oh, my foot fell asleep. You can't ask your witness on direct examination a leading question. That is essentially attorney testimony. You're putting your own words in the mouth of the witness and and not letting it come onto the record organically. You can absolutely lead a witness, and you should lead a witness on cross-examination because they're the other side's witness. They aren't necessarily going to cooperate with you. And in some cases, if you have your own witness that is on your side who is not cooperating, you can ask permission to treat them as a hostile witness and lead them, but that's not really what's happening here. What's happening here is you have an inexperienced lawyer who doesn't know how to properly ask a direct examination or probably cross-examination question in a way that is going to produce testimony that is credible and fair to put on the record. If you are somebody who is interested in litigating in trial, I really recommend that you do a program like mock trial where you can learn some of these skills prior to actually being in front of a judge and making all of these rookie mistakes.
This is the claims manual that was given to me by Jackie LaMancha. Objection, Your Honor. Stolen work papers inadmissible. You rule on this.
Sustained.
May we approach?
I thought this matter was already settled, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I just this morning found a case that is controlling in this factual situation.
What do you have?
If you'll just take a look at this ruling. It's Club Ruby versus Carmine DeSoto. Copy for Your Honor and one for Mr. DeJohnson. Number 585 Southwest 2nd, page 431. It's argued by Bruiser, by J. Lyman Stone, and it shows very clearly that stolen documents are in fact admissible if the lawyers played no part in the theft.
So this is a great example of why bringing in case law can be super important to your case. What happened to Rudy in this situation was he wanted to bring in a certain work document that had been procured because a witness had stolen it from her workplace. The defense argued that stolen work products were not admissible in court, and the reason behind this is pretty simple. You don't want attorneys to be incentivized to steal things, even if they should have been produced during discovery and weren't, because that's, again, unethical. You don't want to reward that kind of behavior. But what Rudy did was really smart here. Instead of just accepting the judge's ruling based on the case law he currently knew at the time, he went and researched if there was any case law that would support his being able to bring in this evidence, since it was crucial to his case. He found a case that supported it, that was controlling in this district, which is a whole nother thing, and got the judge to change his ruling on the objection so that Rudy could bring in the work product. Researching case law, honestly, really sucks, and I hate doing it. But there's a lot of moments where it is incredibly useful and actually necessary to get your case to go forward in the way that you think it should.
We, the jury, find for the plaintiff and award actual damages in the amount of $150,000. And we, the jury, find for the plaintiff and award punitive damages in the amount of $50 million.
Yay, Rudy won the case. But let's break down the jury's verdict here. So actual damages are the number that the jury believes represents the actual loss that the plaintiff suffered. So in this case, which was an insurance claim, the jury is saying you should have given the blacks $150,000 on their insurance claim. That's the actual damages. The punitive damages are kind of what it sounds like. It's punishment, saying you did the wrong thing, and instead of just making you pay what you should have paid in the first place, we're going to charge you interest on that because you should have never brought this to court. You shouldn't, in this case, have brought a mother whose son passed away because of your failure to pay a claim, and not only failure to pay, but deliberate and intentional refusal to pay a claim that you knew was good, that caused a boy to die who could have lived. Because the jury despised what the defendant had done, they punished them severely. The number that a plaintiff receives can be very different than what the jury awards, but in this case, the plaintiff really just wanted that symbolic acknowledgement of her loss and the wrong that Great Benefit had committed, and that's what she got.
Hi, my name is Jericho Carrion. I've been a subscriber for Nicole since I believe last year. I'm based in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, hi, my name is Lulu, and I've been following Nicole forever. I am planning on going to law school as well very soon. And I am based in New York City.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you guys are here. Both of you were very quick to jump on the train of like, yes, let's do a movie night, which honestly, I would be watching this movie by myself tonight anyway, even if no one showed up, but I'm glad I'm not alone. We will all give our reactions at the end of the movie. But in the meantime, Jericho and Lulu, we're finally going to start this thing. Made it through, huh? My brother popped in for like 2 minutes in the middle there, and I was like, why'd you leave? I'm gonna text him and tell him to come back. Okay, so what did you guys think of the movie? Had either of you seen it before?
I have not.
No.
But I'm kind of not surprised about our justice system. So I'm kind of bitter about our justice system to begin with, because I think there's so much work that needs to be done that hasn't been done. And that's one of the reasons why I actually want to get into law or go into law, because of this, like the amount of tremendous work that still needs to be done for quote unquote justice to happen. So.
Yeah, what kind of law do you think you want to practice?
So I want to do international criminal law, and I also want to do immigration law and family law. So.
Just cover all the bases.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite movies as far as legal dramas go, because I think it's really underrated. I already said Matt Damon, so that makes it great already. And I just read the book too, and I think that they actually did a pretty good job converting the story over to movie format. They obviously took out a lot of the details, but as far as how the case goes and the difficulties of going through discovery and producing witnesses for a big civil litigation case like that with a insurance company of all things, I don't think that those concepts have really been fixed yet. It's definitely not the kind of law that I'm wanting to go into, but I think it speaks to a larger systemic issue. Hey, Eli. Your audio's off. I can't hear you. Come on, Zoom boy.
Hey. What is up?
So Jericho, Lulu, and subscribers watching this later, this is my brother Elijah.
What's going on?
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Eli's been in some of my videos before, and I bugged him. I tried to get a couple other YouTubers and stuff to come on to surprise you guys, but 2 of them said that they were coming and then didn't. So Eli's the only one I could use the sister card and make him actually come to be like a special guy. You haven't even seen the Rainmaker, have you?
I saw the 2 minutes that I could join for. It looked cool. I mean, I love Matt Damon, so I'm sure he did an excellent job.
Injustices in our justice system.
Well, that's a loaded question, you know. What do you think about them?
Sometimes it's not always about the money. It's always about seeking righteousness on no matter what you think you do in life. And that's what I like about the storyline is, you know, by the end of the day, they never got the money, but they got what they wanted. It's just to get the righteous thing out of it.
How did it end? Give me the spoiler.
The storyline is that there's a young lawyer who's trying his first case, going up against a big insurance company that falsely, fraudulently denied a claim that ended up killing a cancer patient because he couldn't afford the treatment. And so Matt Damon sued on behalf of dying kid and his and wins big, but the company ended up going bankrupt and they couldn't actually collect any of the money.
Oof.
Yeah.
What an L.
Is there anything else you want to add to the conversation dropping in?
All of Nicole's subscribers, let's go. We are past 100 subs, road to 1 million. Let's freaking get it, dude. I'm so proud of all of you guys for supporting her. She's working really hard, around the clock, all the time. I try to call her to hang out, and she's like, oh, sorry, I'm recording. So, I mean, she puts you guys at priority, which is pretty awesome. So,
all right. I'll pay you later, Eli.
Take it easy, y'all. Thanks for being some loyal subscribers. I appreciate y'all for doing that.
Bye. I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching it with me. Thanks also to Lulu, who we kind of lost, but hopefully I'll be able to get her thoughts and be able to plug them in through the magic of editing. Hey, so we ended up losing Lulu partway through the recording, but I asked her to send a message giving her final thoughts on the movie. Here's a few seconds of that just so you can see what she had to say. I thought it was really cool.
Thank you guys so much for watching The Rainmaker with me today. If you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend you check it out. You can find it on Amazon Prime for free if you have a Prime account, or I'm sure only for a couple bucks if you don't. It's a great film with Matt Damon and Law based on a really good book that I actually just finished reading. So if you're more into the long version of the story, you could read that as well. I'm hoping to have some more movie reactions coming out soon with some of my friends, so I hope that you keep your eyes out for those. If those sound exciting to you or you're interested in my other content, please hit subscribe, like this video, and turn on the bell so you get notifications whenever I post. I'm so grateful for each of you who decided to watch this video today, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Until next Monday, God bless.